普通女生们一定要尽快的和极端女权
Ordinary girls must distance themselves from extreme feminism as soon as possible, because extreme feminists are making too much noise right now. The more aggressively feminism acts out, the ones who suffer are not men, but these ordinary, down-to-earth good girls with normal values. In the past, if a girl was in danger and needed help, you could say plenty of men were willing to play the hero and save the beauty, willing to lend a hand. But I saw a piece of news where a girl fell down and no one dared to go help her. Why? Why has everyone become so cold-blooded? Because previously, there was a man who saved a drowning girl. To avoid trouble, he filmed the rescue process, but later he still got into trouble. The hero not only didn't receive the treatment he deserved, but also had to apologize to her for infringing on her portrait rights. The predecessors have cut down the trees, leaving the successors to be exposed to the scorching sun. The result of feminism making too much noise is that people really don't dare to lend a hand to strange women anymore. People are subconsciously forming a concept that saving a strange woman or helping a strange woman is a significantly high-risk behavior. That is terrifying. If this concept is truly fully formed, then really no one will dare to provide help to strange women. In the future, when a woman's rights are infringed upon, when a woman needs help, no one will actually dare to step forward and assist. Some girls might say, well, we women can help each other. Girls help girls, right? But look at how long that girl lay there. Did any girls go up to help? The result of feminism getting more and more aggressive is that even if a girl helps another girl, she is also afraid of getting into trouble. That's on the level of social aid. What about employment? Nowadays, when many companies recruit, they use various indirect and tricky little questions to test whether this young girl's values are sound. Companies are also afraid of hiring a little fairy, entitled woman who brings a lot of problems and drama. Once they discover a hint that your values aren't quite right, companies have gotten smart. They will reject you in a complimentary way. Oh, miss, you are really excellent, but you don't quite fit our corporate culture. There's a view online that this is all caused by men, that men are the culprits, and you just need to switch to a company where the boss is a woman. But what is the reality now? Companies with female bosses actually don't hire women. They hire men directly. Ironically, those with the greatest prejudice against female employees are not male bosses, but female bosses. Because female bosses, more or less, understand what the current, increasingly aggressive feminism is all about. So to save trouble, they simply hire men. In terms of employment and the workplace, feminism has not brought actual benefits to the female group, but has instead subjected the female group to discrimination. What is quite ironic is this. I remember a very popular feminist blogger online. When her younger brother got married, she spoke at the wedding and told her sister-in-law, "Live your life well, spend less time on the internet, and don't believe those comments online." The contrast can be said to be immense. Many of these feminist bloggers with the loudest voices and the fiercest activism are very clear that the theories they speak and spread are wrong and will cause huge harm to the female group. But they still do it because they want to make money. They have achieved both fame and fortune, making tons of money. But what about those girls who believe in extreme feminist theories? Bosses dare not hire them, making employment very difficult. In dating, with such abnormal values, they simply can't find boyfriends because men are scared. On the level of social trust, even when they fall, no stranger dares to lend a hand, and no hero dares to save the beauty. To put it plainly, these extreme feminists are not speaking up for the female group at all. Why were the feminist bloggers silent after the safety issues with sanitary pads were exposed? Why are feminist bloggers silent regarding the long-standing workplace discrimination against women of childbearing age? Because they only want to make money, not truly speak up for you, the female group. Therefore, normal, ordinary girls must strictly draw a line with these extreme feminist groups. You must stand up and speak out to tell everyone, to tell the world that many girls have normal values, earning money with their own hands and improving their quality of life. You must make the entire scope of public opinion understand that not all girls believe in these extreme feminist theories. Extreme feminists have really cut down too many trees. Now, normal, ordinary girls must replant these trees. Otherwise, the entire female group will be exposed to the scorching sun together, and the credibility of the entire female group will be dragged into the abyss by extreme feminism.
兴趣券，女生
Take a piece of advice. For girls who are 28 and still unmarried, stop constantly thinking that there will still be guys chasing you recklessly like when you were in your early 20s. At this age, most people meet through matchmaking, and guys met through matchmaking really won't spend heaps of energy chasing you. Even if he meets you, thinks you're decent, and has a good impression of you, he will only take a slight initiative. If at this very moment you remain lukewarm and indifferent, he will retreat immediately. Especially those guys with decent conditions. You might actually like him in your heart, feeling that he is good and suitable in every aspect and want to give him a chance to chase you. But to be honest, such guys really don't have that much patience to chase a girl. They have options too, and they're also afraid of wasting time. To put it plainly, at this stage, relationships are more like a two-way selection. If you are passive, he retreats. If you hesitate, he looks for the next one. That is the reality. Don't wait until you've lost your chances.
现在洋儿子大家都想明白了哈。
Everyone's finally woken up. Back in the day, if a family had only one son, the parents wouldn't sleep at night. Buy a house, buy a car, pay the bride price, around 42,000 US dollars if it's 300,000 renminbi, throw a big wedding banquet. Everything had to be perfect. They'd empty their life savings to get their son a wife, and still had to watch the bride's family's mood. Terrified, they'd say it wasn't enough. Now, totally different. The second the guy hears the girl wants 300,000 renminbi bride price, he turns around and walks away. No more begging. Girl says the house must have her name on the deed. Can't do it? Fine. Marry or don't marry, up to you. Girl says all 5 gold items, ring, necklace, etc. are non-negotiable. Guy says, no need to talk then, bye. Parents in the South have woken up too. Not that they can't afford it, they just don't think it's worth it. Why work your whole life saving money just to hand it all over the moment your son gets married? These days, what if you bring home a wife who's hard to live with and she divorces you after a couple of years? You lose both the person and the money. Who are you going to cry to? And today's young guys aren't stupid. Getting married isn't about being a sucker. Spending 1 million RMB or more to buy a wife who might make your life miserable is nowhere near as good as staying single and enjoying yourself. Parents get it now too. If their son can't find the right girl, let him stay single. Way better than being taken for a ride and played like a fool. So yeah, families with sons these days have only 2 words in mind. Hold out if you can, walk away if you can't. Nobody's turning marriage into a transaction anymore. Tell me, am I right or what?
不是，我现在我才
It is not until now that I can understand my parents' anxiety. To be honest, even today or even yesterday, I didn't fully grasp it. I realized that I seem to be the oldest unmarried female in both my mom's and dad's sides of the extended family. No wonder my parents have started blaming the ancestral graves and the feng shui, and want to take me to see a fortune teller again. Then, didn't I film a video yesterday saying my mom's colleague found someone who calculates very accurately? But our family hasn't gone yet. Today my mom asked for details again, and they said it's miraculously accurate. Anyway, they said the divination fee isn't expensive, but I don't know exactly how much it is. I don't plan to ask either. I'll just go wherever they tell me to go because now I know that being obedient is the only way. Since the Chinese New Year is approaching, I'm afraid all the fire will be directed at me, because I am the oldest unmarried woman, ha ha ha. Mom said we need to get ready and find a time when everyone is free, because I heard that old master only accepts a few people in the morning and a few in the afternoon. If you don't make the queue, or if he has already finished his quota for the day, lining up is useless. My mom said we have to bring a quilt and go queue up at his place in the middle of the night. It has reached this point, sisters.
And before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching this video from. Connecting with viewers from all around the world is a huge inspiration for us. Thank you so much.
你们知道吗？现在为什么很多二婚女人她们
Do you know why so many divorced women, second marriage women, nowadays are unwilling to get married? Divorced women are a dime a dozen in the market. The divorce rate is so high, yet the remarriage rate is extremely low. Many men haven't thought about one problem. Clearly, many men are willing to sincerely accept these divorced women and provide them with food, clothing, housing, and transportation, but these women still won't stay with you for long. What is the fundamental reason? It is debt, high debt. Nowadays, many divorced women want to buy cars and houses on their own, owing a buttload of car loans and mortgages. Some even engage in vices like eating, drinking, whoring, and gambling, or fail in business projects, owing tens of thousands of RMB, i.e., several hundred thousand RMB, approximate 40,000 to 100,000 US dollars. Let me tell you, even if you treat her well, ask her to come live with you, and live a normal life of firewood, rice, oil, and salt, daily necessities. Can that solve her debt? She lives well with you, and you treat her very well, but unless you give her several hundred thousand RMB, tens of thousands of USD, in hard cash, her car loans, mortgages, and that buttload of debt won't decrease at all. The balance won't go down. What use is just living together? So, many women don't want to get married and are unwilling to marry because there is no man willing to be the big sucker to solve her debts and bail her out. If you have the conditions and the ability to go all in and pay off her debts, she might live with you for a while and then run away. That's why these women, most of them, choose not to marry for 5 or 10 years. It basically starts at 5 to 10 years. The normalized singleness of these divorced women is because they want to find a man to solve their high debts. Just dating, just moving into your house, just living with you. Even if the man is responsible for all food, clothing, housing, transport, and daily necessities, what use is that to these divorced women? It's useless. That buttload of debt is still hanging there. What use is it if you just feed her? Unless you give her 80,000 or 100,000 renminbi, approximate 11,000 to 14,000 US dollars, to solve her debts, then it would be useful. Therefore, you must be very cautious with divorced women who have been single for a long time, especially those who have been single for more than 3 years. Most of these divorced women are professional singles. Do you know that? There is a kind of singleness that has become their profession. When they no longer go to work and become idle people in society, outside of the 8 hours of daytime, they turn on beauty filters on Douyin at night to play the role of a single person. Think about it. How desperate are these women for money? What's the use of just dating? What's the use of you being good to her? Will her debt decrease? Will that buttload of debt go down? So now many divorced women are just deep in debt, helpless. Without a man to act as a sucker, she can't get married either because getting married and just living life doesn't solve the fundamental problem for them. Listen to me. Be cautious with divorced women and do not have large financial dealings with them. If you can date, date. If not, forget it. Just resolutely don't look for them and don't spend money on them. Remember this.
强势的女人不能要啊！
You absolutely cannot take a domineering woman. If a man marries the wrong wife, it's even worse than being a bachelor, believe it or not. It's truly a fate worse than death. There are some women you just cannot touch. No matter how beautiful she is or how much you like her, you cannot marry her and bring her home. The first type is the domineering wife. This kind of woman is arrogant, loves to make trouble out of nothing, and doesn't treat you like a human being. You have to revolve around her forever. She blows up over the smallest things, loves to pull a long face, and loves the silent treatment. This isn't a wife. She is simply a ticking time bomb, and who knows which day she'll blow you up. This kind of woman will drain your energy, wear down your fighting spirit, and be a stumbling block in your career. She will affect your financial sources. So, when looking for a wife, you must find someone who is emotionally stable. Otherwise, your home will be in chaos. The second type is the woman who has no concept of money, who only cares about immediate pleasure, spends money without any plan or limit, is vain and loves to compare herself with others, loves to preen, and is extravagantly wasteful, without considering the daily necessities of life. Do you know? If a woman doesn't consider the daily necessities, firewood, rice, oil, salt, she is not a good woman. She is not a woman who can live a down-to-earth life. This kind of woman cannot support a family. A woman can spend all your salary today and empty your family savings tomorrow, believe it or not. When you have money, she sticks to you like chewing gum. But when you're down and out and have no money, she runs faster than a rabbit, packs her bags, and leaves. This kind of woman is a bottomless pit that you can never satisfy. Then the third type is a second-hand woman. If you can avoid touching one, absolutely do not touch one. That's why they say once a man marries the wrong wife, he can never turn his life around. Many brothers suffer losses exactly because of women. Am I right? Are there any brothers like this? Come on, type in the comment section. Let me see what you do.
有些女生啊，你们那个相亲资料根本都不是正儿八经来。
Some girls, your dating profiles are basically not serious about finding a partner. You are just a high-position person to evaluate men. 2 days ago, a big brother sent me a girl's dating profile. He swiped to it after I saw it. To be honest, I was quite speechless. This sister has ordinary looks, height 1.59 meters, born in 91. This year, 2025, is already 34 years old. Then hometown is Hebei. She wrote that she is in Beijing, working in a central enterprise in Beijing. Simple emotional. Experience small social circle, daily life range in a certain district, treats feelings very seriously, and probably won't have children, unless the male side is very supportive to the family and has pretty good economic conditions. If not matching, don't take the initiative to greet. Don't click on that dating platform. This is you not having children. What do people find you for, right? I say something unpleasant. Many women, some women, your greatest value may be reproductive value. First, many women earn money not for men to spend. Second, not gentle. Third, not beautiful. Fourth, no good family background. You have nothing. Maybe many ordinary men get married. Maybe just for a wife and children. Hot Kong head. Have a child for gene continuation and reproduction. Otherwise, why not just date? Why marry you? People keep dating you. Date until old, then change. You are 34 this year. Soon 2026 will be 35 years old. Don't say you don't want to have. By then if you want to. Have it might be a big problem. Then she wrote again. She said my ideal type is steady, reliable, responsible, good temper, knows how to pamper, has a certain economic foundation, and also has to be a love brain. Why would such a person find 34-year-old you? Please ask. Why? Tell me why? Then what's stingy to the female side? Equal pay for eating a meal. Have to calculate how many times oneself invites, then don't disturb. Why not calculate how many times oneself invites? Boys' money is not blown by the strong wind, although I personally do not advocate AA. That is, I personally can't accept AA men. I think at least boys invite you to eat twice. You invite boys to eat once, you always have to. I also hate stingy men, but this saying calculate oneself invites how many times, then don't disturb. Isn't it what you pay? You don't want to have children. Are you willing to spend money on men? Are you good looking, right? You also want boys to be responsible. Good temper, knows how to pamper. Also have economic foundation, also love brain. Why would such a person find you? Please tell me why. I really can't think of a reason. Is that man's brain broken unless you save his life? Unless like that, then what holding other purposes? First look at how many coins in your own pocket, not sisters. Are we coming to pursue you to get a partner? This whole profile's antagonism is very strong. That is holding that very strong defensive kind. If you want me to have children, you must have particularly good conditions. You must be particularly responsible. It's not that the whole world, only you one woman can have children, other women can't have. He has to find a 34-year-old, so troublesome person to come and go love. Then usual leisure time, like to do what? She wrote usually quite homebody, likes travel, quite likes natural scenery, likes watching variety shows, walking, reading. Squeak, squeak, hee hee. Then wrote again like my love, what she quoted emo. Yan sentence. What true male-female relationship talks about money and sex? So you talk about money means talk with men. Men can't talk with you. You do double standards. I tell the truth. I usually with peers. If I find peers, I go out to eat, pay the bill. I personally am still quite proactive. If the first time boy pays, the second time I will definitely take the initiative to pay because why I just feel peers others are not older than me. Get home, no one owes anyone. That is men pay for. Me, I will definitely pay back. Maybe I can't do 50-50, 30-70. This absolutely has no big problem. I think others don't owe me. What talks about money and sex? Women not too reserved. Men not too stingy. This is adult interaction. Money can't measure feelings, but can filter sincerity. Filter insincerity. People sincere. People sincere to 25-year-old girls. Why be sincere to 34-year-old girls? This sister took many photos, that kind of travel check-in beautiful photos, not ugly. I speak objectively, definitely not ugly, but if you say how beautiful, 1.59 meters height in the north, this 1.59 weather falsely reported, I don't know, then in her dynamics she posted a lot, not a lot. All are yoga photos. Girls love travel, love yoga, love check-in, explore stores, really not any good habit. Still that sentence, spending money things, who doesn't? Why boys have to pay for this? I have this economic strength. Why not find young little girls, actually older women? Actually, if you really want to find a partner, the premise is want to find a partner. Profiles must not write like this. What should you write? Because my circle is too narrow. To be narrow when young, maybe know this awareness. I am willing to have children. I am willing to grow together with men. You come up want good economic conditions. Not by what is this requirement. You're this appeal. He is unreasonable. You just don't want to find. To sisters just don't want to find. Then don't want to find. She can openly say, I want to find, but I haven't found my Mr. Right, haven't found my ideal type, I have no choice, can deceive oneself like this. But the problem is, you always can't find your ideal type. Isn't it you wishing here? This is internet, it's not a wishing pool. Of course, there are also many big brothers wishing, but big brothers wishing, to be honest, men themselves will spray, but this woman usually big brothers start to praise kill. To sisters don't compromise, there will be white horse princes, driving 7-color auspicious clouds to marry you. Really sisters, this man, he maybe men will fantasize, say, when I 30 years old no money, I maybe wait until 40 years old have money. He has money is really can find young beautiful women. You have money can also find little milk dogs, but many women are I have money, I still want to find a little milk dog to spend money for me. Then you still don't want to have children, even if you want to have when born, this can only be played. He can't enter a long-term relationship after seeing are all anxious for this big sister, older than my age, really anxious for this big sister. I suspect her exactly want to come find a partner or not. To say don't want, she again goes to this platform to register, again seriously post dynamics, again seriously fill her this profile, and write her own is post her photos. To say she wants to find pure wishing. I hope really many sisters recognize clearly how much you weigh. Can't self-high, can't your surrounding people feel you excellent? This little sister looks not bad. Master's degree, central enterprise, work stable. Then still have time to practice yoga. Still travel check-in, looks very beautiful. Of course, maybe people think in heart. If can't find, big deal, I don't find. Can, no problem. This is your freedom. Please continue to persist in being yourself. Bye-bye.
我发现一个特别有意思的现象。
I have discovered a particularly interesting phenomenon. Out of 10 girls who come to consult me, 8 will ask the same question, which is why guys in the dating scene nowadays aren't proactive anymore, and the conversation dies out after just a few sentences. To be honest, it's not that they don't want to, it's that many are afraid and tired of it. I have a male fan who met a girl through a blind date before, and he was quite satisfied. Following the standard procedure, he proactively messaged her every day, racked his brains to find topics, and never missed a good morning or good night. But this girl, every time she replied to a message, it was like opening a blind box. Sometimes she would reply with just a few words, and sometimes she wouldn't reply for several hours. He persisted like this for 2 weeks, and when the guy proactively asked her out for a movie, the girl said she had to work overtime this week, maybe next time. The guy summoned up his courage and asked her, "What about next week?" The girl said, "Let's talk about it next week." That phrase, "let's talk about it," completely deflated the guy, and he never sent another message. As a result, a few days later, the girl went to the matchmaker to complain. asking why this guy was so impatient and stopped chasing halfway through. You see, in the hearts of many girls, being slow to warm up is a golden shield, but in the eyes of many guys, being slow to warm up is code for no chance. Blind dating is not a one-way chase, but a two-way approach. You stand in place, motionless, yet blame him for not carrying you the whole 100 steps. Over time, even the strongest person will feel tired. Now, many guys have figured it out. Instead of putting energy into someone where you can't see the progress bar, it's better to cut your losses in time and switch tracks. So girls, if you meet someone who looks pleasing to the eye, don't just wait for him to clear the levels by himself. Open the door for him, hand him some water. Good relationships are about steps given to each other. You take a step down, I take a step up, and it works out. If you are always agonizing over why he isn't proactive, it will be very hard for you to leave singlehood in the dating market.
24岁美女主播相亲索要20万彩礼。
A 24-year-old beautiful female live streamer asked for a bride price of 200,000 renminbi, approximate 28,000 US dollars, during a blind date, but unexpectedly, she faced indirect but harsh criticism from the male guest. In the girl's view, most men wouldn't just contentedly buy a car for 100,000 renminbi, approximate 14,000 US dollars, yet they are entirely unwilling to spend 100,000 renminbi to marry a wife. Moreover, her request for a 200,000 renminbi bride price isn't even considered high. Are years of emotional foundation and a girl's most precious youth not even worth 200,000 renminbi? Regarding the girl's dissatisfaction, the guy didn't respond directly. Instead, he questioned her in an extreme manner, implying that before asking for a bride price, she should think about whether she is worth that price. Hearing this, the girl felt both angry and aggrieved. After all, she just wanted an attitude from him. It wasn't about being obsessed with the number, but obsessed with an attitude. She just couldn't understand why a guy would rather spend 200,000 renminbi on a car than spend 100,000 renminbi on a bride price to get married. We need to understand the male guest's psychological reasoning for why he would rather spend 200,000 renminbi on a car than 100,000 renminbi on a wedding bride price. It should be noted that she is at an age of peak youth and beauty, plus with a height of 1.7 meters and a pure, innocent look. She should have countless suitors around her. Furthermore, as a live streamer, she has long achieved financial independence, so raising the bride price given such excellent personal conditions is naturally understandable. Regarding the bride price, I would definitely aim higher. As the popular saying goes now, you think however much the other person loves you, that's how much they will give you. Yes, online, the amount of the bride price is the sole standard for measuring love. Even if you have accompanied each other for many years, if you can't produce a bride price of several 100,000 RMB when getting married, you can only face being eliminated. But unexpectedly, this view, which was originally popular, caused her to lose face completely when participating in this blind date. With the continuous development of society, the concept of bride price has indeed begun to weaken gradually. But what followed were different manifestations of extremism, leading to constant controversy throughout this blind date. When the two first met, the girl was actually not satisfied with the guy's looks and height. Since she possesses a height that is relatively tall among girls, she naturally has strict requirements for appearance. However, fortunately, this is not everything in a love life. By comparison, she values her partner's economic strength and family background more. Regarding economic conditions, it might be that if the other party owns a car and house fully paid off, at least we don't have to bear the burden of loans. Actually, the girl isn't putting money above all else. Everyone is entitled to pursue superior material conditions. Moreover, in today's marriage market, she indeed possesses the advantage of external conditions, but men of similar age rarely have the ability to buy a car and house in full. However, fortunately, the male guest in this blind date has quite substantial family conditions. Not only did his parents already buy him a fully paid-off car and house in the city center, but he also holds a household registration, Hoku in the main urban district. This way, most of the pressure on the couple after marriage can be alleviated. I have a younger brother, born when I was 3. When learning that the girl also has a biological younger brother, the originally harmonious blind date atmosphere instantly became filled with the smell of gunpowder. For example, if your brother wants to buy a house, do we have to bear that? Or, if your family situation is bad, do we have to support your family? The male guest blurted out such a realistic question, and before the girl could respond, he continued to raise his various requirements for a partner. Those engaged in low-end jobs, he would pass on. Those with too many friends, he would also pass. If a girl can't even support herself, he would also pass directly. Compared to the girl's standards for economic conditions, the male guest's requirements appeared more specific. But the reason for this turned out to be a past relationship where he gave sincerely. Before this, the male guest's ex-girlfriend had no job and frequently drank and sang with opposite-sex friends. For her sake, he not only worked hard and did overtime, but even shared all his work experience unreservedly, but unfortunately, he was betrayed in the end. Since then, he is no longer impulsive but treats relationships with rational thinking. However, in reality, this appears very unfair to his next relationship. It feels like he won't give of himself in the future, and if he does, he will calculate the costs. The male guest's special experience caused the girl to have heavy concerns, but unexpectedly, his subsequent remarks opened her eyes even more. During the subsequent communication, the two discussed the issue of authority in the family. The girl hoped the male guest would know how to accommodate her, but unexpectedly, the guy started lecturing her. If you read more books or gain more experience, you would learn a lot. Whether in the family or with others, it's about speaking based on capability. You say speaking based on capability, that means whoever is more capable calls the shots. At this point, the girl really couldn't bear it anymore. From beginning to end, the male guest was either demanding she be self-reliant or insulting her low cognition, never knowing how to get along with her humbly and gently. I guess I feel like I've witnessed the diversity of things. In the girl's view, she had never met such an unreasonable person. Even if he was hurt by his ex, there is no reason to let the current person bear the burden. Coupled with his strong male chauvinism, this led to him always maintaining a superior attitude. But the male guest gave a different perspective on this. My idea is actually for small matters, it doesn't matter who we listen to, but if it is a general, major decision, then you need to listen to me. In the male guest's eyes, his vision and wisdom far exceed the girl's, but essentially, the mutually dominant personalities of both desire to control the absolute right to speak in the relationship. Not knowing how to compromise leads to constant quarreling. Even in the subsequent bride price issue, both parties completely objectified the originally happy marriage relationship. I will give as much bride price as your value is worth. It's impossible that you have no value, and I give you a bride price of several $100,000. At the end of the blind date, out of politeness, the two still exchanged contact information. This blind date, viewed from different angles, will produce different viewpoints. Whether it is criticizing the girl's bride price or attacking the male guest's dominance, in the final analysis, one should first learn to treat each other with sincerity in a relationship and learn not to be self-centered anymore. After all, sincerity is the cornerstone of a romantic relationship. At the same time, Jean wants to warn everyone that the prerequisite for any happy marriage is an emotional foundation, not material things. The essence of marriage is built on love, trust, and mutual understanding, so objectifying affection is absolutely undesirable.
Men
are currently teaching the dating and marriage market a lesson by engaging in a collective revenge of not getting married. Those who have a house and a car would rather spend their money on camping, fishing, and traveling everywhere, living a carefree and comfortable life on their own. As for those without a house or car, they simply stay home and lie flat. After all, they know that starting to date implies quickly returning to poverty. You think men are stingy? It's just that the current social trends are too ridiculous. A perfume costing a few hundred yuan, approximate tens of USD, is considered a gift too cheap to present. All year round, gifts must be given for every holiday, big or small. The paycheck hits rock bottom as soon as it's received, so where is the money left to save for daily life? Not to mention the pile of rigid expenditures for marriage, the bride price, the 3 golds, jewelry, and the wedding banquet ranging from tens of thousands to over $1,000,000 yuan, approximate 41,000 US dollars to over 138,000 US dollars, emptying out half a lifetime of the parents' savings. It's even more deadly after marriage. Raising children, taking care of parents on both sides, and social obligations. Tell me which one of these doesn't cost money. The scariest part is you exhaust all your strength to shoulder everything, but if it ends in divorce, half of the house and car gets divided away. After working hard for half a lifetime, you end up with nothing. You tell me, how is this marriage? It is clearly a high-stakes gamble. Many people haven't realized that marriage was originally meant to be 2 people partnering up to live together, a harbor of mutual support, but now it has turned into a unilateral shackle of responsibility on men. The life of an ordinary person should be simple and plain, yet it has been forcibly fitted with the standard answer of having to own a house and a car and holding a lavish wedding. It seems that if you don't do this, you lose face and aren't respectable. It's not that men don't want to take responsibility, it's that they don't want to pay the bill for ridiculous demands. Nor is it that they don't want to get married, but they don't want to enter a marriage that hollows them out and where they bear all the risks. A good relationship has never been about one side giving and the other taking, but about 2 people saving money together and striving together. Living comfortably is more important than anything else. Don't be held hostage by worldly filters. Life is for you to live, not for others to watch. Cast aside those flashy but impractical demands and find someone willing to share joys and sorrows with you. Someone whose values match yours. Even if this person temporarily has no house or car, saving up slowly and striving together is still better than falling into the pit of a high-risk marriage.
给现在年轻
Here is a piece of sincere advice for young girls today. It doesn't matter if a man has no car, it doesn't matter if he has no house, and it doesn't matter if he has no bride price. What matters is whether you can get yourself married off first. Don't let yourself get left on the shelf. Just look at me, I am 38 years old this year. Even if I offer a car, a house, and a dowry in reverse, no one would even consider me anymore. You say, if a woman in this life cannot get married to a man and cannot have her own children, her life is incomplete and completely meaningless. Even if you have all the money in the world, live in the biggest house, and drive the best car, what is the use? When you die, you can't take anything with you. Your final destination can only be a nursing home or a home for the elderly, growing old in loneliness. Is this what you want? If I had understood this truth earlier, would I have ended up being left over today?
我就发现啊，
I have discovered that the majority of older women have not yet realized the seriousness of the problem. You have always been in an environment where men outnumber women, and the information you encounter emphasizes how hard it is for men to find partners, so you still don't treat this matter as a big deal. You don't feel how serious the problem is. The figure of 30 million surplus men really needs to be analyzed carefully. Just looking at the number 30 million, the conclusion you draw might be that there are definitely many men, and women definitely don't lack partners, so you might think that as long as you put in a little effort, you can find someone to marry. Based on this view, you would absolutely never imagine that one day you would be left over, unable to get married, and become a single woman. Nowadays, these women have to pay the price for their perception. It is a fact that men outnumbered women in the past 10 years. At that time, having a girl in the family was very precious, and suitors would break the threshold proposing. Women born between 85 and 95 definitely understand this deeply. Whether you are from the countryside or some mountain nook, as long as you are female, someone will always find you. But the current situation has changed. If you haven't realized it yet, you might not be able to get married even if you want to. I don't know if you have noticed, but women born after 2000 are already 25 years old this year. Those born in 2005 are 20, and some born in 2007 have already reached adulthood. According to the marriage age in rural areas, when women born in 2007 finish high school and do not continue their studies, they might step into marriage, start nurturing their own children, and become mothers. Meanwhile, on the side of older women, some women born in 95 haven't found partners, And there are even some women born in 90 who are still unmarried. On some dating websites, you might even see women born in 88 or 85, which was unimaginable in the past. Yet, these women remain very picky when choosing men. If you decide not to marry for a lifetime, that is also normal because in this era everyone has their own way of living. As long as you are willing, outsiders have no right to interfere. But what is quite dramatic is that some women are 35 years old and still fantasizing about marriage and love, feeling that they deserve better men. From this, we can see how much interference the surrounding environment has caused these women. Let's talk about the difficulty for domestic men to get a wife. When dating, you need a car and a house, you need a job, and your parents need a pension. And the wedding bride price, the 5 golds, jewelry, the engagement banquet, the wedding banquet, plus various consumption, almost consume the savings of an entire generation. When the figure that women outnumber men by 7.29 million is exposed, when millennial women successively enter the marriage market, and when the reality that older women cannot find partners and cannot get married is laid out before our eyes, we need to re-examine the female group. Some concepts must change. The disadvantage of older women has become increasingly obvious, and their situation is becoming more subtle. In the past, they picked at others' faults. Now men are starting to pick at their faults too. 2025 will be the final window of opportunity for older women to get married. Whether you were born in 85, 90, 95, or even 2000, if you want to get married within the next 5 years, do it quickly. You cannot wait, you cannot watch from the sidelines. If you feel the other person is okay, you have to seize the chance. If you don't grasp this final window of opportunity well, entering marriage will become increasingly difficult for you in the future.
We are living in an era where love seems to be overshadowed by dark clouds of calculation, suspicion, and materialistic pressure. From stories of sky-high bride prices and unrealistic standards to the wave of men lying flat, out of exhaustion, or the loneliness of those who waited too long, all point to a heartbreaking truth. We are gradually turning marriage into a business transaction rather than a safe harbor. My dear friends, let's take a step back and reflect. Happiness does not lie in the figures in a bank account, nor does it lie in who wins or loses the gender war. Extreme ideologies or excessive material demands are like cutting down trees for timber, leaving the next generation and ourselves exposed to the scorching sun without the shade of protection. Don't wait until you are 38 or 40, when opportunities have slipped away, to realize that a luxury car or a big mansion cannot warm the loneliness of old age. The core value that chineseemotion wants to convey to you today is this: let's return love to its rightful place, which is sincerity. To the men, keep striving, but give your enthusiasm to someone who knows how to cherish you. To the women, step down from the virtual pedestals of social media. Look for a partner who dares to suffer with you and build a future with you, rather than looking for a walking ATM. A sustainable relationship is when you take a step forward and I take a step forward too. It is nurtured from both sides, not a unilateral favor or demand. Let's replant the trees of trust. Let's cast aside prejudices and pragmatism to find each other in this vast sea of people. Because after all, when all the glitz and glamour fade, the only thing that keeps us anchored in this life is the warmth of a hand holding ours tight during the hard times. Thank you for listening. Live sincerely, and love will come.